In the vast ocean, there are three men facing a huge dilemma. They're starving and thirsty, trapped in the vast sea. I had to eat the baby shark, and store the remaining meat in socks, but I haven't waited for them to be happy yet. I was surrounded by countless sharks. This story is adapted from a real event. Three soldiers are in deep trouble, suffering from hunger and thirst, drifting in the sea for a whole 34 days. During World War II, a U.S. military aircraft was ordered to carry out a bombing mission against Japan, but I lost my way in the Pacific Ocean. Comlos. Oil tank bottoms out. The captain can only make a forced landing on the vast sea. The plane quickly sank into the seabed. Three team members struggled to break free from their seatbelts and surfaced. Hurry to inflate the life raft. Spending a difficult night in the cold and dark. The next day, 3 people are waiting for rescue with hope. Soon, a rescue plane appeared in the sky. Due to the urgency of the situation, they didn't bring any noticeable items with them. Only take-off personal flotation device, desperately waving, but the rescue plane did not detect their presence. To soar and depart. But this sea area belongs to the 4 battlefields. Rescue planes only conduct 1 inspection. Now they can only rely on their own captain to order everyone to take out their belongings and check that there are not many effective supplies available. At this point, they have no water or food. Even the life-saving valve is an expired product 4 years ago. To alleviate the burden, the captain asked the team members to throw away their shoes, but he kept his own shoes. He firmly said, once landed on the shore, someone needs to walk to find help. This reason is very legitimate. The team members have to admit it. When night falls, the captain is really thirsty, unexpectedly drank homemade beer. The team members watched him sit down a bit. The next day the 3 of them were really hungry and couldn't bear it. At this moment, they realized that there were so many fish in the sea. If we can catch fish, they won't go hungry again. But they don't have the tools. There's no bait either. Faced with this difficult problem, how should they respond? Growing so big, I haven't seen anyone fishing like this before. They use braided thread as fishing thread, using the spring in the pistol as a fishing hook, and impersonate a fishing bait with a piece of rag, using fish roe as a heavy object. Unexpectedly, they just released the fishing line from the water. There's a fish on the hook, but the fish in this sea area are even more hungry than them, eating all their fishing gear. Under helplessness, they can only rely on homemade beer to sustain their lives. 5 days will pass quickly. 3 people are starving and thirsty. Whitening of lips. Little Drag has reached the limit of endurance. Got the idea of drinking seawater. Fortunately, the captain stopped him in time. Because seawater accelerates dehydration, it will only make people increasingly thirsty. There's water all around, but unable to drink. Such an indescribable boy, on the sea surface without any reference objects. They don't even know where they are. Suddenly, the captain remembered carrying a pencil with him. He used him to draw sea charts, determined their approximate location. Subsequently, they made a ship anchor together, used to control the navigation direction of the life raft. The captain firmly believes that, as long as the direction is correct, in a few days they will be able to see land. The team members have regained hope, began to pray for a heavy rain. Finally, as night fell, heaven has favored them. A heavy rain made them have a good time drinking. They also used ice bags to collect rainwater and quench their thirst. They realized that they hadn't eaten anything for several days now. Ziosui still insists on fishing, but I didn't catch a single fish. In a fit of anger and exhaustion, he picked up his knife and fiercely thrust it into the water. The captain was startled. Hurry up and stop him, because if you accidentally puncture the life raft, they all have to go to hell. But Ziosui ignored it. He actually poked a shark. Baby. 3 people worked together to slaughter him, despite cruelty, but it was also a helpless move. They finally had enough to eat, and the remaining fish was put into their socks. Preserved with salt water, can keep them from spoiling in a few days. After satiety, they finally felt a little relaxed. Xiao Tuo said at this moment, if we can safely return home, he is willing to introduce his sister to Xiao Shuai. Just as Ziosui was immersed in his fantasies about Ziochuo's younger sister, they suddenly found themselves surrounded by a group of sharks. It turned out that the smell of blood caught their attention. They were too scared to move. There was a stalemate with the shark until night. At night, Xiao Shuai wants to wash his face with seawater. As a result, his hand was severely bitten, instantly bleeding profusely. The horror of the sea is chilling. If there is no protection from life rafts, they have already become the dinner of sharks, drifting in the sea for 15 days. Both food and water have been depleted. The 3 of them had haggard faces. Xiao Tuo was lost in thought with a pistol. Ziosui asked him if he wanted to eat something, and he pointed his gun in the direction of the captain. In the endless sea, drifting 3 poor people. They have been starving for 15 whole days. 2 team members desperately aimed their guns at the captain. The captain is dozing off. A seabird stood beside him. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, including payment records. 20. The captain saw food. Turn around immediately, jump into the sea resolutely to catch seabirds. But I haven't waited for them to be happy yet. A shark is swimming over. The captain made every effort to swim towards the ship. Sharks are relentlessly pursuing. Fortunately, there was no danger. He successfully climbed onto the ship. On the 20th day, the three of them are already exhausted. Hunger and despair envelop them. According to the original calculation, they should have arrived at Luding long ago. The team members began to question the captain's judgment. The captain admitted that it was his own misjudgment, but he doesn't want to reveal the truth, because that's how they can hold on to their hopes for life. He recalled being on the plane, because it's too hot. I accidentally fell asleep, lost direction in a few minutes. That led to this tragedy, but the team didn't blame him. The captain was deeply moved. He decided not to wait for opportunities anymore, and they create their own opportunities. He cut open his shoes, used as an oar. 3 people rowing vigorously, moving in the direction they planned. But on the 30th day, still unable to see land. He and they are already starving to death. Skin, sunburn, erosion by seawater, gradually starting to rot. At night, everyone understands him. They've already been there for a long time. Top. How long have they been happy? They broke the wind and suddenly struck. Attack. Gradually, the power overturned them into the sea. They have reached the lift raft and worked together to climb up. They gathered together, facing the surging waves, facing difficult and dangerous situations together. 4 more days have passed. The 3 of them can no longer support them. Even started joking. If someone dies, what should the other 2 people eat? It's him. At this moment, so I began to hallucinate. It seems that I saw Ziochuo's sister smiling at him on the sea surface, and the captain, in despair, drank the phantom water. However, just as everyone was about to give up, Ziochuo suddenly discovered land. Is this just an illusion? When all 3 of them were convinced that they saw land, they cried excitedly into a ball. Finally rescued. They tried their best to paddle with both hands. The sea pushed them towards the shore. Finally, they were rescued. This movie is adapted from a real story. Captain, due to excellent protection, the team won the Navy Cross. And after Ziochuo was rescued, I really married Ziochuo's sister, although it was a dilemma caused by mistake. But they chose to admit their mistakes and be tolerant. 34 days of unbearable suffering on the vast sea. They choose to encourage each other, mutual support, to create this miracle of life.